Right, ebusian for me ma obi bia kwa abasonko eba possibility we gh any kwan so and then can we need channel this YouTube ya de said e ba ko pe no answer be gibre no share video no share no like or comment or subscribe we no share content no amoni ebi so nya videos ni bi ahwe me din e difference at you aka possible ni say nya che makonya sia na che say o man konkon Ghana imu nsem na madom su kwa hwe bia me di bi e ba beso ebusian mpese me share wadaje ndi kwan so audio ba ko bia drop yenko tin se me audio.
Meaning that we are getting ready for, we will show it to you in a minute. And of course, later tonight, our big story is who becomes Ghana's next Chief Justice. The announcement is due in a very short time. In 2 weeks' time or so, the announcement will come up about who becomes the next Chief Justice. Tonight, we're going to play out the entire story for you to see. And by the time we finish, you will know who we are thinking of. And you can also make an intelligent guess based on the guesses that we will be making. All right. So here is Dr. Baumia speaking in Abetifi. He talks about policy and what the MPP government has done. That's how we'll start the story. Dr. Baumia spoke first. Later on, we'll show you what Bryan Acheampong said, and we'll show you what the NDC is complaining about. Yes, Dr. Baumia speaking.
But MPP digital card, mobile money interoperability, digital address, free SHS, free TVET, one constituency, one ambulance, Zongo Development Fund, one district, one factory. There is so much, but NDC for one transformational policy.
For good measure, I have to play that again. What did Dr. Baumia say? Play it again.
But MPP digital card, mobile money interoperability, digital address, free SHS, free TVET, one constituency, one ambulance, Zongo Development Fund, one district, one factory. There is so much, but NDC for one transformational policy.
Beyond that, Dr. Baumia said a few things, and that's what we're going to do on the touch screen now, and then we continue with the story. This is all from Abetifi. He said, Mahama has no policy after 30 years in politics. Dr. Baumia, that's quite harsh, isn't it? That's very, very harsh. And I have to say these are the words of Dr. Baumia. They are not our words. He says, President Mahama has had 30 years experience in politics with not a single policy to show. All right, what are the details? He says as follows, quote, do you know that John Mahama has been in politics his entire adult life, over 30 years. He has been an assemblyman, deputy minister to minister, then vice president, and then president. But can you mention a single transformational policy that he has implemented? That's a big one. That's a tough question. Okay, well, Dr. Baumia sort of clarifies. He says it's a transformational policy. So he's not just talking about any policy. He's talking about transformational policy. What are the transformational policies that he, Dr. Baumia, can tell us that the MPP have done? That's the question, isn't it? So you can ask that question and you can interrogate the MPP people about that. In the video that I played, he said a few things. But here, he says that President Mahama, after 30 years of political life, most of his adult life, he cannot show one transformational policy that he has occasioned. Other people who support President Mahama say that the policies that were occasioned by the governments that President Mahama were part of should be counted as part of President Mahama's policy support to the country over the 30 years that the country has made him a politician. Well, that's the jury still out on that, isn't it? I mean, it's a matter that we could continue to talk about for a very long time. But that's how Abetifi started. President Alhaji Baumia energized the crowd with touting the credentials of the MPP, giving them hope that it is possible to break the 8, etc., etc. That's what they say these days, the MPPs, you know. They say it is possible. That's their new catch line and catchphrase. All right. Now, Bryan Acheampong then poked the NDC in a very major way, and that has created a bit of a problem. This is Bryan Acheampong speaking.
The party are buying to rent Kakaba to your Ukraine, Russia, war, COVID. Am I into I confirm. Am I opposition? Who is silent? Am I what day I confirm? I'm saying esan say possible ntino Biden shishaya egukwamu dollar every 17 about 10 petrol every 17 about 9 and never in a conform economy na pechale holo it is possible yeah man this better and I know my dream say time na my work from no saa time no e beto aba na me she for my boy she region boy every June July this year I am a four about the soya sene ye tutu ye akoye am economy na peja ye tutu ye akoye am dollar na peja ye tutu ye akoye am efumu ya me ye tutu ye akoye am abai no channel na so NDC ebegu na say what do you imagine say what is the patapa any person say we about the year 2024 now the best of say we have the band say about bad people party ya about band we see about the platform so me the power am NDC esida a quite the first 2024 election no MPP bachelor pen no never pass.
So that was Bryan Acheampong. He spoke in Chi, but to which he says that at the beginning of in the middle of the government, the MPP had difficulty because of IMF and Ukraine war, because of COVID and Ukraine war, and that the opposition were hoping that elections will occur at the time the economic difficulties were raging, but they didn't occur at that time. He says that the government is picking itself up again, is getting the dollar back to stability, is getting the petrol price down back to stability, and he predicts that by the middle of the year the IMF will underpin the government's efforts and the economy will open up, and at that stage Ghanaians will see that the MPP is back on top. He says in those circumstances, if somebody tries anything, they will have the men. MPP will show they have the men, and that he said then the NPP is not about to hand over power to the NDC. He said eventually, because of what they are doing in government, the NDC might collapse. These are the words he made to it. Okay, back to Dr. Bawumia's statements. He said, talking about the policy initiative. So he said that, do you know that John Mahama has been in politics his entire adult life, 30 years? He has been an assemblyman, deputy minister, vice president, but can you mention a single transformational policy that he has implemented? There is none. Just mention one. Still quoting Dr. Bawumia, says, just mention one, but there is none. Only doomsaw, guinea fowls, that's all. But with the MPP, we have mobile money interoperability, we have one district, one factory, we have digital address, we have free SHS, we have Zongo constituency fund. There is no much we have. There's so much Dr. Bawumia says the MPP has done. But Bryan Acheampong's comments outraged the National Democratic Congress, and they issued a statement and a report to the CID. Here it is. It's as follows. The National Democratic Congress NDC has taken notice of a statement made by Bryan Acheampong, MP for Abetifi and Minister for Food and Agriculture, to the effect that the ruling New Patriotic Party government will never hand over power to the NDC. The NDC condemns this utterly reckless and treasonable comment in no uncertain terms. We, the NDC, note that Bryan Acheampong is the latest of high-ranking officials of the MPP to make such a brazen statement that reveals the party's deep-seated determination to subvert Ghana's democratic order. At an MPP delegates conference in Kumasi in 2021, President Akufo-Addo expressed his determination to hand over power to an MPP government in 2025. This eerily reminds everyone of the Nana-Addo-led desperate attempts to steal the 2008 elections in the strong room of the Electoral Commission, and other attempts made by his desperate party to put dead bodies in water bodies in the Volta region, all to subvert the will of the people in that critical election. At a similar MPP conference in Accra in 2022, Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Oblite Komi, speaking on behalf of the President, stated that the grand plan of the MPP, saying, "The power I have, I will not hand it over today or tomorrow," unquote. All right, so that's the statement from the, is that the concluding part of the statement? Not normally to be signed. Is that a concluding part of the statement? Okay, all right. So that's the statement from the National Democratic Congress. The New Patriotic Party also then issued a statement sort of in support of Bryan Acheampong. Let's see that one as well, and then we will show you the video that has been put together. Okay, so the continuation there's a continuation to, okay, so at a similar conference in Accra in 2022, Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Comey, speaking on behalf of the President, stated the grand plan of the NPP. Okay, this is the continuation. These voices, led by President Akufo-Addo himself, reveal the NPP's evil agenda to hold on to power by hook or crook, even if the people of Ghana vote otherwise in 2024's general election. These comments truly demonstrate a patterned, well-rehearsed strategy of the New Patriotic Party going into the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, having plunged our country into an unprecedented economic crisis, one defined by spiraling cost of living and complete insolvency as seen in our debt default. It has become clear that the NPP has decided that, having lost the support of the people of Ghana, the only option left to remain in power is to reduce this country into a banana republic by suppressing the will of the people. In furtherance of the above evil agenda, there has been a systematic bastardization of every single independent state institution under Akufo-Addo Bawumia NPP government. The once respected Electoral Commission has recently witnessed a new low following the appointment of hardline New Patriotic Party activists into very sensitive positions in the commission. They'll roll it up. I think there's more of the statement coming. It's 19 minutes past the top of the hour. Forgive me, my touch screen today is misbehaving a little bit. Okay, is it going to come? All right, I'm sure it's going to come. There's also an NPP statement that we will show you. It continues. The NDC, a party that both in the years 2001 and 2017 handed over power to NPP when the people of Ghana voted for the NPP, wants to assure Ghanaians that we shall do everything necessary to protect the democratic will and the sovereignty of the Ghanaian people. We wish to assure the good people of Ghana of our resolve and readiness to do whatever is necessary to preserve the democratic will of the people, even at the peril of our lives. The supreme will of the Ghanaian electorate will be manifested come December 7, 2024, as the political tradition that ushered in our nation's stable constitutional order. The NDC will do whatever it takes to resist the misrule and the machinations of the oppressor, and thus protect and preserve our democracy. I think that makes sense at that stage. It's finished. There's another one? Okay. All right. We urge the Ghana Police Service to act with dispatch in this matter. We recall the alacrity with which it recently apprehended and charged the Swami Constituency Youth Organizer of the NDC for expressing views that were deemed to be insightful. No one is in any doubt that the statement of Bryan Acheampong is even more subversive. Okay, perhaps they will roll it over again and then we'll read it. Sorry, our touch screen is misbehaving. 20 minutes past the top of there at 10 o'clock. When we are done, we will get the NPP statement. Okay, now this is the concluding part, I believe. We equally urge voices of conscience in our country to condemn the statements made by not just Bryan Acheampong, but also President Akufo-Addo and other officials of the ruling NPP government. God bless our homeland Ghana and preserve her from the plague that the desperate NPP has become. Signed by Fifi Viavikwete, who is Fifi is the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. Let's see the NDC statement as well, and then the NPP statement, I should say. Okay, so this is the NPP statement. It says, the New Patriotic Party reacts to National Democratic Congress ill-founded attack on Bryan Acheampong as follows. The New Patriotic Party has cited a flippant statement signed by the General Secretary of the opposition National Democratic Congress on comments made by Bryan Acheampong, Member of Parliament for the Abetifi constituency and Minister for Food and Agriculture, while addressing some party supporters in the Eastern region, which the NDC describes as treasonable. Okay. The NPP finds the NDC statement not only ill-founded, hypocritical, illogical, and baseless, but also one that lacks contextual substance for the consumption of the discerning Ghanaians who are not oblivious to the modus operandi of the main opposition party in deliberately putting out diabolical and mischievous slant to an otherwise innocuous comments, such as the comments made by the Member of Parliament, in furtherance of their selfish political interest. Since the NDC pretends not to appreciate and logically decode Bryan's message, we will once again educate them, just as we have done on many occasions. For the avoidance of doubt, the statement says, Honorable Bryan Acheampong was responding to the NDC's perpetual flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. Okay, it will continue, and that's how the NDC describes John Mahama as a perpetual flag bearer of the MPP. All right, no, it's going to get ready soon. Sorry, it's taking a bit of our time because we really have to get the Chief Justice story out of the way. Okay, it's delaying, so let's just get to the video. We don't have much time. Our task force is all working today. Dennis, please fix it. It's important. 22 minutes by the top of the hour. So after this conversation, back and forth conversation, a video was put together with Bryan Acheampong and President Mahama. Both of them seems to be speaking in a similar tone. Here's the video.
Elections, no, it will be won or lost at the polling station.
I see.
And the polling station, they are very do or die. 2024 is a critical election, both for them and for us. And I'm saying that for NDC, it's a do or die affair. And I'm sounding a warning to the MPP. We're going to match them boot for boot. NDC has revolutionary roots. And that when it comes to unleashing violence, nobody can beat us in unleashing violence. That's why I don't retract. The next election